Ever notice how the people who know the least talk the most? They walk into rooms like experts, they dominate conversations, and worst of all, they actually believe they're right. But here's what no one tells you. The dumbest people aren't just loud, they're dangerous, not because they're evil, but because they're convinced they're smart. And when confidence is powered by ignorance, it spreads like wildfire. This isn't just annoying, it's a psychological glitch. It has a name, the Dunning-Kruger Effect, a mind trap that makes the worst performers believe they're the best. And before you laugh too hard, you might be in it too, because the scary part is, we all fall for it. Let me show you how deep this rabbit hole goes. Picture this. A guy reads one article about investing. Now he's handing out stock tips like he's Warren Buffett's long-lost cousin. Or the girl who watches 2 true crime videos suddenly thinks she's qualified to solve murders. It's funny until it's not, because these people aren't pretending. They actually believe they're smart. And that belief, it gives them power. Confidence opens doors. Even when it's built on nothing, they speak louder, they speak first. And the real experts, they go quiet. Why? Because smart people know how much they don't know. But clueless people, they don't even see the gap. That's the Dunning-Kruger effect in action. The less you know, the more you think you know. It's not just arrogance. It's ignorance pretending to be wisdom. And here's the catch. You don't feel it happening. It starts with a little success. One thing goes right. You think, I got this. Then ego kicks in. You stop asking questions. You start talking more. You become the overconfident fool. And no one dares challenge you. Because confidence blinds people. Not just the speaker, but everyone listening. And now, that ignorance is contagious. This is the trap. And most people never escape it. If you recognize these traits, drop a comment below or hit like. It's time to face the facts. In 1999, 2 psychologists, David Dunning and Justin Kruger, conducted a study at Cornell University that would change the way we think about intelligence and confidence. They tested participants on their knowledge of grammar, logic, and humor. What they found was shocking. People who performed the worst on these tests rated their own performance as highly as those who actually did well. They had no clue how bad they were. In fact, the worse they did, the more confident they became. This is where the Dunning-Kruger effect comes in. It shows that people with low ability in a certain area often overestimate their skills, while experts in that area tend to doubt themselves. It's as if the less you know, the more you think you know. It creates a dangerous feedback loop where ignorance breeds arrogance. The researchers created a graph to illustrate this. Mount Stupid, this is the peak of overconfidence. It's where most people get stuck. They think they've mastered something, but they're at the very beginning of their journey. Valley of Despair, after the initial burst of overconfidence, reality hits. The more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. This is where most people quit. Slope of Enlightenment. This is where the real growth happens. You begin to acquire genuine expertise, and your confidence starts to level out. You stop pretending to know everything and start understanding the true depth of the subject. The Dunning-Kruger effect isn't just some academic theory. It's real, and it affects all of us. You've probably seen it in action on YouTube. Take the overconfident experts who spit out opinions with no real evidence. They act like they know everything, but their lack of depth is painfully obvious if you look closely. In contrast, the quiet experts, the ones who speak with restraint and clarity, are often the most knowledgeable, but they don't feel the need to scream it from the rooftops. It's simple. The more you know, the more you understand how little you actually know. But the more you don't know, the more likely you are to believe you're an expert. Let's flip the focus now. Are you in this trap? Think about the last time you spoke with absolute confidence about something, but were completely wrong. Maybe it was politics, maybe it was a random fact at a party, or maybe it was a career decision you thought you had figured out. You stood there, all puffed up with your certainty. But deep down, you were missing something. We've all been there. How? Often do we start something new and think we're already great at it. You pick up a guitar for the first time, strum a few chords, and suddenly you're imagining yourself as the next Jimi Hendrix. But the reality? You barely know how to tune it. Or what about when you get into a deep conversation about a subject? You've only skimmed the surface of, like politics or philosophy. You throw out big words and general ideas, but you haven't done the research. You speak with the confidence of an expert, but inside, you're just winging it. Here's the thing. Everyone falls into this trap. Even you. Especially you. You've likely been caught in this cycle without even realizing it. The worst part, you might still be in it right now. It's like standing at the foot of a mountain and thinking you're halfway up because you've read the first few chapters of the map. You've only scratched the surface, but you're already claiming to be a guide. This is where the Dunning-Kruger Effect is most dangerous. It's not just about what you don't know, it's about what you think you know that keeps you from learning more. Think about it. When was the last time you stopped and thought, I might be wrong about this? When did you actually question your own certainty? If you haven't done that in a while, it's time to be honest with yourself. You could be stuck in Mount Stupid, believing you've reached the summit when the real climb is just beginning. Here's the cost of staying ignorant. It's not just embarrassing, it's damaging. When you think you're smarter than you are, you stop learning, you stop questioning, you stop growing. And that's when things start to fall apart. Bad decisions start to stack up. Relationships get ruined. Opportunities slip through your fingers. Why? Because the false confidence that comes with ignorance blinds you to the reality around you. Take, for example, the rise and fall of many public figures, influencers, CEOs, even politicians. They get to the top because they know how to sell an image, how to sound confident and convincing. But the moment their shallow knowledge is exposed, the fall is brutal. Look at that failed CEO who talked a big game, but in reality didn't understand the very core of their business. Or the influencer who built their brand on fake advice, only to have their empire crumble when the truth came out. The loudest ones are often the first to crash and burn. This is the price of ignorance. It's not just a matter of being wrong. It's about what happens when you think you've got it all figured out, and then the consequences hit. It's a wake-up call that comes far too late. It's a brutal reality, and yet we continue to see people rise to the top without really knowing what they're doing. Confidence, not competence, is often what gets them noticed. But then comes the inevitable crash. The thing is, they don't see it coming. They're too deep in their Mount Stupid bubble, too busy trying to prove they're right, to realize they're headed straight for disaster. When you think you know it all, you stop listening, you stop learning, and that's when life hits you, back harder than you can imagine. Now that we've seen the damage of ignorance, how do we break free? The first step is awareness. You need to admit, I don't know. It might sound simple, but this is the hardest step. Because the moment you admit you don't know something, you strip away the false confidence that's been holding you back. And let me tell you, there's power in that. Humility isn't a weakness. It's a superpower. The next step? Ask better questions. Stop pretending you have all the answers. If you don't understand something, ask someone who does. Dive deeper into the subject. Get uncomfortable. The more questions you ask, the more you'll learn. And the more you learn, the more you'll realize how much you don't know. But that's the key. It's the realization that unlocks growth. This doesn't mean you have to be an expert right away, but it does mean you need to surround yourself with smarter people. Find mentors. Surround yourself with those who challenge you, those who make you question your beliefs. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Let's take a page from Socrates. The philosopher once said, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing." This isn't a defeatist attitude, it's the foundation for real learning. Recognizing your ignorance doesn't make you weak. It opens you up to a world of knowledge you would have otherwise missed. So, embrace the discomfort. The more you realize you don't know, the more you'll want to learn. And the more you learn, the less likely you are to fall into the Dunning-Kruger trap. Awareness, curiosity, and surrounding yourself with smarter people. That's the path out. Let's revisit that loud, overconfident person from the beginning. The one who thought they had all the answers. The one who spoke first, shouted the loudest, and made sure everyone knew they were in charge. They were convinced of their brilliance. And for a while, maybe they even convinced you. But now let's picture the other kind of person. The quiet one. The one who listens more than they speak. They ask insightful questions and carefully consider their words. When they speak, it's with authority. Not because they're trying to prove anything, but because they know their stuff. They don't need to shout. They don't need to boast. They just know. This is the transformation. The shift from shallow, foolish confidence to quiet, grounded power. You see, the smartest people in the room usually say the least. They understand that true expertise doesn't need to be flaunted. They speak with precision, not volume. Their confidence is rooted in deep knowledge and self-awareness, not inflated ego. So ask yourself, are you climbing Mount Stupid, acting like you know it all, only to crash down when reality hits? Or are you walking the path of mastery, slowly but steadily acquiring the wisdom that comes with true understanding? This isn't about becoming an expert overnight. It's about the journey, the slow climb to the top, where real knowledge lies. The loud, brash confidence is tempting, but the quiet, reflective power is far more powerful. So take a moment and think. Are you ready to shed the layers of false confidence? Are you ready to embrace humility and wisdom? If you are, then you're already on the path to true strength. Like and subscribe if you're ready to escape the trap.